welcome to Hell's Bitchin', a Gordon Ramsay fan cast. My name is Sam.
My name is Max.
And we are here to take you on an audio journey through all things Gordon Ramsay.
Particularly this season, all things in his kitchen of hell, otherwise known as Hell's Kitchen.
Yes, that's correct. If you haven't been joining us so far, we are recapping and reviewing every single episode of season 1 of Hell's Kitchen.
You don't even have to watch the episodes. Now we're doing it for you.
We'll take care of it. We're preserving this for future generations. You know, someday people aren't going to want to watch TV. They're going to want to listen to other people talk about TV that they already watch.
I already do that.
That's true. Yes, so we're doing this for the children, of course. But so this is episode 3. So we're on season 1, episode 3 of Hell's Kitchen. So.
Day 3. Each episode is titled like day 1, day 2, day 3. I refuse to believe that this happens in a span of like 12 days.
No, because like there's definitely like multiple days per episode. Because they have the early morning squid cleaning challenge. Then they have dinner with Chef Ramsay. And then the next day they have dinner service. So
it's all bullshit. Unclear.
Yeah, it's all bullshit.
That's unclear.
But anyway, so this is episode 3. So if you want to catch us from the beginning, feel free to check us out on YouTube or Blogspot or whatever. Twitter. Wherever you find our podcast, which is not on Apple Podcasts just yet. But yes, thank you for joining us for episode 3 of Hell's Kitchen. Max, how you doing today?
I'm feeling peachy.
Feeling peachy?
Feeling peachy. What? And that's not just because there's peaches in this episode.
No, yeah, there literally are peaches. Just to give you a little look behind the curtain, it's currently 10 p.m. Max and I have both had a full day of living, working. I went to a tap class. It was a really good tap class today, guys.
I made cookies.
Max made cookies that are tempting me to break my diet. So, with that being said, let's hop right to it.
Let's do it.
So, we start out this episode once again with the 6-minute intro about why you should give a shit about Gordon Ramsay. So, just to give a little recap, at the end of the last episode, the red team lost.
The red team lost, and Chris, is that his name? Had to pick 2 people to send home. He picked Dewberry because he almost walked out, but he
didn't.
He was a true hero. And then he picked Jeff, who was having a tough time in the kitchen due to kidney stones.
Yeah, his kidney stones made him burn the spinach. So, but unfortunately,
the kidney stones did it.
Yeah, the kidney stones burned the spinach. Actually, Jeff was only there.
He was just a puppet.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Dewberry went home.
Yeah, Jeff.
Even though there was that beautiful like TV moment I'll never forget when he was about to leave, and then his team was like, "Do we know?" And he saw Elsie, and he decided that he couldn't leave. It was really beautiful.
It was a really beautiful moment. Too bad he's gone, and Jeff is still here
somehow. So, big intro. First of all, I made a note because at the beginning of it says London, England, known for its architecture. And we were like, well, what? But so I wrote down, it's known for its architecture, culture, and royalty. But now, England boasts a new king.
Isn't the royalty fake in England anyway?
I don't know what's fake about Princess Kate.
I'm talking about the Queen.
I don't know.
She's fake. The Queen's not real.
This is America. Anyway.
Don't get you slipping up.
So, some other notable quotes that I wrote down this time. A man of the people. He grew up on the working class streets of Glasgow. That's what they say about Gordon Ramsay. They call him a man of the people. Okay. And then they tell him he's like, his fiery attitude in the kitchen has given him the nickname the bad boy of celebrity chefs. And the way that they illustrate him being the bad boy is that he's driving a nice car, a convertible car. He speeds away very quickly while talking on a cell phone.
Yeah, that's a bad boy.
He's a bad boy.
He's a bad boy because he's ignoring the street signs.
But I didn't see any street signs.
Only bad boys don't.
But also, this was like during a time.
Only bad boys drive cool cars and drive fast. If you want a cool car and drive fast, be bad.
Bad to the bone. Mm-hmm. But also, this was during a time when it was still like legal to talk on your cell phone and drive, right?
Yeah, it was like 2005. And plus, this is England.
Yeah, so he was definitely driving on the left side of the road. Anyway, I thought that was funny. I was like, oh yeah, he's a real bad boy in his gray sports car convertible talking on his little tiny Motorola cell phone.
That's like saying Alton Brown is the bad boy of celebrity chefs.
He is.
He's so smart.
I'm here to tell you, Alton Brown's the bad boy of knowing shit. Mm. Jeff's first step after Dewey goes home
Yeah,
is Sue.
like I said, like every episode starts like immediately after the execution, where they
where they execute a poor chef's jacket. Yes.
The elimination, I mean, but it starts immediately after, and they all go back. They all go back to their dorms, and Jeff's like on a mission. He's like, I gotta pee out this kidney stone, and he does it, and he does it, and he puts it like you can like hear him groaning out of the stall. He's just like, I'm in pain.
Yeah. Well, listen. So they go back. Everybody misses Dewberry. Everybody misses him.
Everyone wishes Jeff was dead.
Yeah, everybody's like, man, I'm gonna miss Dewberry. And Chris is like, well, or Ralph, I think, was like, well, he left the line. You know, you leave a line in a professional kitchen, they fire you on the spot. And everyone's like, yeah, I know, but still. But Elsie was like, he's the only person around here that makes me laugh. And they showed a clip of the episode where they win dinner with Gordon, and the clip that they show, she's sitting on her bed and Dewberry's standing there. He goes, look at you, J-Lo. And she laughs. And that's the snippet that they showed to be like, what a funny guy. He's like, look at you, J-Lo.
Well, I'm sure he was good to hang around with.
Yeah, I know. I just thought it was funny that, like, she's like, he always made me laugh. And they just showed him go, look at you, J-Lo. And then that was it. But yeah, so the voiceover says, Jeff's pain isn't for Dewberry.
Oh yeah, everybody's sad except for Jeff, who's only sad because
but
of
the pain that Jeff is feeling isn't for Dewberry. Yeah, so he's carrying around his kidney stone, right? The first person you see him take it to is Elsie, and she goes, it's that small? And he's like, your kidneys are meat, is what he said.
He's like, you're passing it through your kidneys.
He said, your kidneys are solid meat. Do you know that? And then he shows it to somebody else, and they're like, oh, one of the guys, they're like, oh, Ralph. He's like, I don't want that thing coming out of me. And he shows it to Jessica, and she's like, that looks like I don't know what she said. She said, that looks like a mustard seed.
Yeah.
And he's like, you got to pass this through meat, through straight meat.
Quit saying meat. Also, drink water.
Yeah, so I guess...
Jeff, drink water.
I guess Jeff wasn't faking it, but, like, it doesn't change the fact that he's still...
But you know what?
They go into the kitchen the day after Dewberry's gone.
And the kidney stone debacle is over.
Yeah, so the red team has been really good at winning challenges, but they've lost every dinner service so far. So they're down to 4 people, and the blue team has 5 people. So Gordo says to Michael, give me your jacket. And everyone's like, what? For a second, like thinking maybe he's going home or something. But he just puts Michael on the red team, which is the best thing that could ever possibly happen.
Yeah, Michael was like the sous chef. Like he's been in the kitchen. He's been working in the kitchen for years.
Yeah, Michael's my boy. Oh, we wanted to go over everybody who's still left. So before we do this, let's go over everybody who's still left. We have
on
Elsie.
On the red team.
Elsie, mother of 3.
Jimmy,
who is like a sales executive or something, but he's chill. He's just chilling. We got Chris, who is an executive chef.
We have Jeff, who's also an executive chef.
No, Jeff is just like a kidney stone bitch. I don't even know what he does. We've read his thing every time, too, because they always put up Jeff, age, what he does. We never read it.
Yeah. And then now Michael, who is a sous chef.
Yeah, he's a sous chef at a real restaurant.
On the blue team, there's Ralph.
Ralph, who is a restaurant owner, restaurateur, I believe. Mm-hmm. He's experienced.
Yeah.
Andrew, who is a kid who like grew up in a family restaurant. So he's like 24. And he thinks he knows everything.
Wendy, who is a financial something, an accountant or something.
Self-proclaimed perfectionist, Wendy, who has yet to do anything perfect. We'll see if this is her week. Then we've got Jessica, who is a headhunter. And finally, we have... Who is it?
Who is...
Oh, Mary Ellen.
Mary Ellen.
She's chill as hell. She's just like doing what she has to do. She's doing her best.
In the background.
She fights with Andrew sometimes, but it's fine. She's just chilling. I really like Mary Ellen.
I completely forgot about Mary Ellen.
Honestly. Well, we forgot Jimmy last week, Mary Ellen this week, so evening it out. But yeah, so he puts Michael on the red team, and Gordon says, if you want to come through as a leader, you know, this is going to be your time to shine, to really show that you have that leadership potential.
He wants them
because
to carry
there's a restaurant on the line, folks. Yeah, there is a restaurant.
Yeah, they're supposed to get their very own restaurant.
And like what, $10,000 or something? Or did I make that up? I think I'm thinking I've nailed it. But they're at least.
I think the only prize is your very own restaurant,
which could be worth $10,000. So, yes. So they go into the challenge, and Gordon says every restaurant you'll ever work in has VIP guests, and you need a VIP menu. This time, you're VIP, it me. I'm that. So they said,
I'm that VIP.
It me. I'm that.
Who you cooking for? Oh, it's me, bitch.
Who ain't got no bars? Okay. But yeah, so they have to cook a VIP dinner, and that's 5 courses: cold starters, appetizers, entrees,
Yeah, entrees.
dessert.
It's like a cold starter, hot starter, fish entree, meat entree, and dessert.
So apparently for VIPs apparently eat 5 full meals. Who knew? But so they send them out to go grocery shopping.
Well, they're very small portions.
Yeah, I guess so. But after a while, yeah, so he rents a double-decker bus so that the teams can plan their meals in private. So extra for no reason.
I imported this from my home.
Yeah, so they go to the grocery store, and on the way there, they're planning their menus. And
yeah, they have like
Ralph,
their own floors to keep it a secret.
Yeah, that's why they got the double-decker bus, so that they couldn't hear each other.
Why not you could just get 2 vans, but okay.
Well, I guess it saves on the. No, I was going to say saves the planet, but no, because it's a bus instead. Anyway, so Ralph and Andrew are having some trouble because Ralph just keeps shooting down everything Andrew suggests. Oh, wait, yes.
So they're going to a grocery store. They have 10 minutes and a budget of $100 to get everything they need.
Yes, they got to do all their shopping, and while they're in the store, they all have to stay together.
Yeah, they only have 1 cart.
Yeah, they only have 1 cart, and they all have to stay together to keep shopping. And the sous chefs, Marianne and Scott. I wrote down their names. I Googled their names mid-episode. Yeah, Marianne and Scott, the sous chefs, are kind of watching them to be like, hey, stick together. And so the red team is shopping, and Jeff is just such a moron. He's in the bread section, and they've left, and they're like, wait, you gotta wait for Jeff. And everybody on the red team is just so sick of him.
Yeah, he's Jeff's the only one causing problems this entire trip at the grocery store.
Yeah, and Elsie is he just doesn't think. He totally missed the concept of you guys have to stay together in the grocery store. He kept wandering off on his own like a moron. I don't know. He's just so dumb.
Yeah, but he's grabbing the bread. He's like, this bread is too tough. And he's like, we're making croutons. This is too tough. He's like, dude, we're making croutons.
Yeah, everybody hates Jeff. Well, it's because he's making this soup. This onion soup with croutons. It's his big thing. And Chris even says later, he's like, Jeff keeps talking about his great soup that Gordon's gonna love. Oh, his soup is so important. But that's why he's being extra about the bread, is because it's his dish, his warm starter. So they're making a 5-course VIP meal for Gordon. Each team, and it's kind of split up between the 5 members of the team. One person's in charge of this and blah, 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 blah. And so Jeff's big thing is this hot soup that he's doing, but we'll get to that.
Onion soup.
Yeah, his onion soup. So we start with the blue team. I wrote down everybody's, what they did and how it went. So Jess starts out, and she's got this, mushroom thing. I didn't even understand. Oh, no, it's a grilled pineapple something for her cold starter. And Gordon hates it. There's no flavor. Elsie makes a salad, which he loves because Elsie knows what's up. Ralph made a corn chowder that Gordon liked. Jeff, his stupid-ass soup. And, as he's taking it up there, everybody behind him is, literally rolling their eyes. Michael and all of them, they're like, this fucking guy. They're, rooting against him, even though he's on their team. But Gordon loved it. He was like, you took something that could have been quite boring and made it quite interesting.
And Chris and everyone's like, Chris is like, Jeff saved our asses, I guess.
Wendy makes a ginger salmon.
Which he
liked. And the voiceover was like, this is the first moment of positive feedback that Wendy has ever gotten.
It's been weeks. And this is the first.
Well, apparently it's been 3 days. Okay. So Chris comes up, the executive chef. I said even the voiceover hates him. They're like, next up is executive chef Chris. And Chris brings up this, whatever his fish dish was. And Gordon said that this is the kind of shit you serve to a sick rabbit. So he did not like it.
So he thought it was okay.
Yeah, so it was actually pretty good. No, he said you serve that shit to a sick rabbit.
Little did you know.
Not even, oh my god, it's Gordon Ramsay. Max just pulled off his own face and revealed that he was Gordo the whole time.
And then Gordo pulls off his face and reveals that he's a sick rabbit.
Did you
and
hear that?
loves
Max
it.
just said Gordo. Max just said Gordo.
I'm gonna pour water all over this laptop.
No. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna jump in here and say Andrew. Andrew presents the steak dish, right? The other meat, the main meat. And Max had mentioned earlier, peaches are involved in this episode because Ralph kind of strong-armed Andrew into putting these white peaches.
Grilled peaches.
Grilled white peaches, which I don't know what white peaches are. They make so much shit I've never even heard of on these shows.
Going to the country.
I'm gonna eat a lot of white peaches. But yeah, so Ralph made Andrew put these white peaches on there. And as I said, it's kind of like every person is in charge of their dish that they're presenting. So they're taking the brunt of it. But Andrew, this was not his decision to put the peaches on the steak. And so he goes up to present it to Gordon, and Gordon's like, I've never had anything like this. I'm dying to see what it'll taste like. And Andrew's like, yeah, me too. And he hates it. He hates it.
Yeah,
and Andrew gets chewed out about it.
He's like, that combination doesn't work. It's like, I don't know what you were thinking. And Andrew's like,
I was thinking Ralph made me do it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of fucked up. Michael made a little garnish of the H, the pitchfork, and the K out of mushrooms. And Gordon's like, well, you're a proper smart ass, aren't you? And that's pretty much, it was just a good joke.
I love your new Gordon voice.
He talks like a...
He talks like a rabbit, he does.
I was going to say it's a scoop.
Buyer beware.
Yes. It's the open world game of the future. Today. If anybody's into Ellen Noir videos from 2009.
Super Best Friends play.
Yeah. So Mary Ellen makes a trio of creme brulees, which is really good. And then Jimmy makes a dessert, which is just kind of dull and boring. So the teams are even. So he had to judge on the overall meal, the flavors together, how it went as a whole experience.
The combinations.
The combos.
The ebb and the flow, the chakras of the meal. How did they open?
The essence of the VIP dinner. So the red team wins, and he says, I'm taking you to the pub, I am. So he takes him to the pub.
Red team won, and they won. They got to go to the pub with Gordon Ramsay.
That's right. They go to the Cat and the Fiddle. And I have here, the peach and steak is so bad that Gordon is livid with Andrew specifically. So the blue team's punishment, since they didn't win, is that they have to clean the dorms head to toe. And he's like, Andrew, make sure you scrub the toilets. He's so mad at Andrew over the peaches and steak, and it's not even Andrew's fault.
It's really not.
It's because Ralph just forced him to do it. I said he was an
asshole earlier, but Ralph is he's just kind of like an old man.
Ralph just thinks he's right 100% of the time.
He's never had anyone.
Generally, he is. However, now that Michael's gone, I think it's because Michael moved to the red team now. He wants to be the top dog on the blue team.
Yeah, I think so too.
Good, we're in agreement. Okay, so my next note says Gordo's chill AF IRL. So
yeah, that's what Michael was saying.
Yeah, they go to the pub and we know because we've seen MasterChef Junior and regular MasterChef that he's cool as hell, dude. Gordon Ramsay's the man.
He's incredibly patient with kids, incredibly patient with adults, just as long as they're not fucking stupid.
Well, yeah, and idiots. The thing is, he's that's his persona in Hell's Kitchen. I think he still does that in Hell's Kitchen, where he yells at people and he doesn't take any shit. And you see it every now and then in MasterChef.
You only really see it when they're doing weddings, when they're doing the wedding challenges,
or when people just aren't trying or something, But in Hell's Kitchen, they want that. They want the devil. Yeah, so they're hanging out, the red team, Jimmy, Elsie, Michael, Jeff, and Chris. Yeah, so they have a good time out at the pub. They come back and everybody's still cleaning. And Jimmy, I will say one thing about this show. It is really dated because people are pretty sexist, I think. People they come back to the dorms and Jessica is cleaning and Jimmy's like, what's going on, sweetheart? You having a good time, sweetheart? And she knocks a bunch of shit off the counter and storms out of the room and he's like, well, I guess you're in a bad mood. Which of course she's in a bad mood.
She's cleaning the kitchen because Ralph.
And now you're being an asshole.
Yeah.
Right? And they go back to the next dinner service.
Now that Jeff has passed his kidney stones, everything goes so smoothly in the dinner service, and it was the best night of his life. Except I'm joking. Jeff is still a piece of shit in the kitchen.
He's still a piece of shit. He put a bit.
He blamed the kidney stones last episode.
Yeah, he blamed the kidney stones last episode. There's always an excuse. He's the kind of guy. There's always an excuse. But he he puts this hot pan, he pulls it out of the stove and leaves it on the counter. And apparently it's like kitchen etiquette. If there's a hot pan, you're supposed to put a towel on it so everybody knows it's hot. He just fucking leaves it there. Elsie burns the shit out of her hand on it.
Yeah, and there's like, who left, Jeff, did you just leave a hot pan in here? So like, yeah, I just pulled a baking sheet. I just pulled a cookie sheet. I was just like...
And Chris was like, you have to put a towel on it. Like, somebody could get seriously hurt. And, like, she burnt herself pretty bad.
Yeah, she still managed to get through the...
Because Elsie, mother of 6, is a badass.
Yeah.
But so the red team is like, we need to have a team meeting about how much we hate Jeff. So they're sitting out there and they're like, he's just a liability. We're not getting along with him. What are we going to do? And Elsie's like, you know what? Jeff needs to be here for this. If we're going to hash this out, he needs to be here. Which I think is commendable. Good for her. She's like, if we can sit here and talk shit, or we can like try and work this out. And so they bring Jeff out and they're trying to be like, okay, dude, listen, you got to get your shit together because we're relying on you. You're on our team, And then...
Yeah, like that's what Chris tries to say, but like Jeff keeps interrupting him with like...
Well, it's because Jeff is like, what do you have against me? He asked Chris that. He's like, you really got it out for me, don't you? And Chris is like, no, and then Jeff's like, you're always coming after me. And he's like, will you shut the fuck up and let me talk? That's what Chris said. It was like the first like explosion between people, like getting in a fight. He was like, will you just shut the fuck up and let me talk? And like, he's like, if you ask me a question, let me answer. Don't ask me a question if you don't want me to answer. And so the red team's falling apart.
Yeah.
And Jeff like storms off. It's a whole thing. But I wrote here, thank God they've got Michael now, because Michael fucking knows what's up. But so they're prepping and stuff, and they're like, Jeff, where are the carrots? And he's like, not done yet. And they're like, Jeff, where are the green beans? Not done yet. And so they're prepping, and they're like, okay, Jeff, we're just waiting on you. He's just taking his slow ass time, just being a moron. Whereas last week he would have been like, my kidney stones.
Yeah, this week has no excuse.
Exactly.
Literally no excuse.
But so tonight in Hell's Kitchen, it's a big night because there are critics in the hizzy. They got 2 critics. One lady, well, they each try everything from both kitchens.
Yeah.
But they're 2 ladies sitting back to back. They're like, the critics are sitting with their friends. And it's like, but so there's people at their table, but they keep leaning back to talk to each other because they're sitting back to back at tables right next to each other. But so Jeff, right out the gate, tries to send out 2 lobster spaghettis.
One has like a ton of lobster in it, and the other has no lobster in it.
Yeah, he was like, we can't send spaghetti lobster or lobster spaghetti to a table, and one of it has lobster and the other one doesn't. So Michael takes charge and redoes it for him. And like, because Jeff's doing it and he's a moron, and Michael's like, just let me do it. And Michael does it like in record time, meaning it doesn't take him 25 minutes. And Marianne's going, say thank you, Mike. Say thank you, Mike. Mike's helping you out. Say thank you, Mike. Really laying into Jeff.
Yeah, because like she could see Jeff's not trying.
I think that's why I have a note here that I felt bad for Jeff at one point. But I think I think now that I'm looking back on it, now that it's been a solid, 48 hours since we watched it? No, just 24.
Just 24.
What day is it?
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday. But yeah, so I think that's what it is he's just not trying. He's making excuses and stuff. And so I think that's why they're laying into him so much.
Not his kidney stones. Maybe he's like, I'm just fatigued from my kidney stones. Nah. He's just, he passed his kidney stone and now he's no excuse for his performance.
Yeah, Michael just takes over, and his excuse this time, Jeff's excuse, is not, I don't have kidney stones. He says this like 5 times. He's like, well, you guys are expecting too much out of somebody who's never been on a line before.
Yeah,
he's like, I've never been on a line before.
I've never been on a line before. What do you want me to do?
First of all, this is the 3rd dinner service. You've been on a line twice before.
Wait, like, I'm just looking. He really said he's never been on a line before. He has been on a line before, hasn't he?
Yeah, 2 times. Well, I don't remember what. Maybe
no, the first time he was a waiter. First time he was like serving.
Yeah, so what the hell did he do last time? Made the spinach. He burned the spinach.
Yeah, so he was on the line.
So he gives some attitude to Marianne. He's like, I've never been on a line before. And they're like, she's here to help. You don't fucking talk to her like that. So the red team is already laying into him. And so they're off to a rocky start, right?
And then let's go to the blue team. They're doing okay, I guess.
Except for the risotto's not done because Wendy can't cook the rice because there wasn't enough water in the pot and it was close to boiling. And she topped it off with cold water because she thought cold water boiled faster. And Gordon's like, he does that thing where he goes, what?
Yeah, he's dumbfounded by her logic. She's like explaining, just like why? Like,
he's like, did you just top that off with cold water? And she's like, yes, I did, Chef. And he's like, why? She's like, I thought cold water boiled faster, chef.
And there's like a minute where she's like, what?
Yeah. She's such a moron. Like, she means well. I feel like if I was in a high pressure situation, I'd probably be doing dumb shit like Wendy's doing.
I forgot the potatoes.
I think that would be me.
Yeah, me
honestly.
too. But like, if you're claiming to be a perfectionist and a professional,
well, yeah, she's never been on a line before, except for the 3 times now. But anyway, so they send out the lobster spaghetti from both kitchens, and they like the they like the red team, but not the blue team. They like the lobster spaghetti from the red team, did not like the lobster spaghetti from the blue team, and they didn't like the risotto from either team.
Yeah.
But the one critic on the blue, she took a bite and she said, oh, this is a mess. This is not good. And I thought it was so funny.
Great job, Wendy.
That like in 2005, people were already saying this is a mess. Anyway, so Andy. Oh my gosh, my notes. I called Andrew Andy in all my notes.
Okay, Andrew.
He made a crab risotto that made a lady literally barf into her purse. It was too salty, and she threw up into her own purse. I think it was a little dramatic, but
and then they send it back, and Gordon's like, Andrew, this risotto. He goes, it's too salty. I know.
Yeah, he did give a little bit of attitude. I guess that is the moment that Gordon got mad, is because he was like, you knew this was bad, and you sent it out anyway. Yeah. And this lady barfed, and then they were like, we out. And they all left because this lady threw up.
Yeah, she literally got sick from his risotto.
Yeah, so Gordon's pissed at Andrew, and then he's just laying into Jeff. And that's where I said I kind of felt bad for him. I don't remember exactly what happened, but, you know, it's just everything he does. He's like, you're just worthless, aren't you? You're not even trying, blah, blah, blah. You know, just like really laying into him.
And Jeff's just like kind of letting it get to him. Like he's putting in less work. And everyone's just like, Jeff,
but he's not doing better.
He's not doing better.
He's just making excuses and whining and saying, I've never been on a line before. He's not trying to improve.
Yeah, at one point he almost leaves. Like he's like Jeff, they're like, Jeff, what are you doing? He's like, I'm gone. And then he comes back.
He's like, I'm gonna finish the service, but
I'm gonna finish the service. Like, why? You're like, because I'm not a quitter. And Gordon's like, yeah, you're not a quitter. You're also not a fucking cook.
Yeah, he goes, you're not a quitter. You're not a fucking cook either. Oh man, it was savage. Yes, so actually that's my next note. I had Ralph is holding the blue team together. Michael is doing everything for Jeff, and he keeps saying, it's my first time on the line. He says, Gordon doesn't have time for Jeff. But he's like, I'm staying on the line because I'm not a quitter. And Gordon goes, well, you're not a cook either. It's so savage. But then so Gordon walks away, and Jeff's like, and Marianne's like, no. She's like, what was that, Jeff? You want to say that a little louder, Jeff? What did you just say, Jeff? And they're like, what did you just say? And he's like, she's like, what'd you just say about Chef, huh? What did you say? Do you want to say that a little louder? You think you're so tough? You want to say that a little louder about the chef? And so Gordon's like, come here, you. You know how he does that?
Yeah. He's like,
come here, you. And you're like,
oh, shit. He's like, hey, come here, you.
Come here, you. And so he comes up and he's like, you got something to say to me? And Jeff is like, I don't remember what he says. He
says like, you're an asshole.
No, he goes like, I'm sorry that you don't like me. You're an asshole. And then everyone's like, what? No, you don't talk to Chef like that.
Yeah, everybody's just like, what the fuck, Jeff?
They're like, fuck you. You don't talk to him like that. And then Jeff leaves.
Like, not in the way that Dewberry left, where like he looked in Elsie's eyes and he decided to try again. He just straight up goes.
Yeah, he bitched out. For sure.
And then Gordon's like, Jeff will not be returning to Hell's Kitchen. And guess what? The red team was so much better after that.
Yeah, they honestly did fine after that. And Gordon's like, I've been called much worse. And it's like, yeah, no. But it's like, Jeff, get your bitch ass out of here, you whiny little kidney stone ridden baby. Even though your kidney stones are gone now, you're still a whiny bitch. That's why, just so you know, if anybody took offense to how little of a shit I gave about Jeff's kidney stones, it's because I knew that this bitch was just looking for an excuse for just to be a piece of shit.
And they got attention. He's like, he
wants the attention. He wants people to feel bad for him. He doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to take responsibility for the fact that he's not trying.
He wants attention, but he doesn't want to work for the attention. He doesn't want to like put the work in.
So Jeff, if you're out there, fuck you.
Yeah. Hope your kidney meats are okay, Jeff.
Yeah. Elsie said after Jeff walked out, I would vote him off twice if I could. Elsie, my girl. Can you
imagine that? Or like, my first nominee is Jeff.
My second nominee is also Jeff. Yeah. Could you imagine? I wish Elsie would have gotten the chance. But yes, the Michael makes the lamb for the red team, and it's really good, and the critics love it. The blue team lamb is overcooked. So they're really not doing well. Gordon told Wendy to shut it.
Oh yeah, because she keeps trying to she keeps responding to
Everything
him.
that he says, she's got a smart answer for him. You know?
Yeah, and he's like, it's.
He's like, why don't you just listen? He's like, why don't you just stop? He's like, you've always got a smart response for me. Why don't you just shut it and do what I tell you to do? You know? And she's like, yes, chef. But then by this point, the kitchen's falling apart.
Yeah, at this point, it's too late.
This lady, they show they're like, the diners are tired of waiting. And they show this lady.
Again! Nobody gets their meals again!
Well, okay.
Why is Hell's Kitchen a thing?
Because they're paying people to be there, Max.
There's no way they're paying people to be there.
They're giving them at least free dinner.
Is it free?
I'm certain. We've been over this. There's no way they're making people pay for this. It's for a TV show.
How is it getting sold out every night?
Because Gordon Ramsay's name has drawn attention to Hell's Kitchen.
I still wouldn't go.
You're full of shit.
You're full of shit. I still wouldn't go because A, I probably wouldn't get my food, and B, even if I did, it'd probably be gross. Because
you'd probably throw up into your own bag.
Yeah, I'd probably be gross because Jeff cooked it.
Well, not anymore. He gone.
He left.
But anyway, so they show, another night in Hell's Kitchen, another dinner service, blah, blah, blah.
Another waiters another disaster.
Yeah. They're like, diners are getting sick of waiting for their food, and they cut to this lady who literally picks up her wine glass and dumps it out on the table. And then they're like, she doesn't even say anything. She just picks it up, dumps it, and they get up and leave. And I was like, that's why I think these people are paid to be there. Even if they're just like, we'll give you $25, and if you get dinner, it's going to be really good. But also, you'll get to be on TV. You get to be on TV. They're just extras. They're just extras.
You'll probably get a shitty risotto.
They're just extras. They're TV extras.
God.
But so they said this is...
it's weird that the only problem with Hell's Kitchen I have is the actual restaurant. Because, it seems like a financially, terrible idea.
I have a problem with the hammock. There's a hammock in the dorms, and I'm like, why? Anyway.
It's 2005. There's hammocks everywhere.
I want a hammock. Anyway, so this wasn't just the worst dinner service of Hell's Kitchen's career.
This was the worst dinner service of Gordon Ramsay's entire career.
And then Ralph eats shit.
Yeah, someone spills some water or something, and he's running around the
probably
kitchen.
Wendy trying to put cold water into boiling water to make it boil faster.
Because with cold water, yeah.
Because that's science.
He's just running, and then his legs just go straight up into the air.
It's like a comedy fall.
It's like they're all slipping on banana peels backstage.
Both of his legs go up in the air, and he lands flat. And you're like, oh, that guy's kind of old. Ugh. He's a little old. To the point where I was like, did he break something?
I hope not.
But so my next note says, yeah, it's like, whoops. My next note says, in quotes, absolutely shattered. I don't know what that means, but probably something Gordon said about tonight. But so he's going through, he's saying, based on what the critics think, that's how we're going to decide who wins tonight. And so they show clips of the critics eating the food from 2 minutes ago, which I think is totally unnecessary. They're like, the blue team, they didn't like your risotto, and it cuts to this girl going, this is a mess, this is not good. And then they're like, they quite like the red team's lamb. And then it's the other critic, and she's like, this is good.
This is the color I like.
Yeah, she's like, this is good. This is how I like it. And it's these 1.5 second clips that I don't think need to be there. I think it's totally unnecessary.
Well, you might have forgotten. You might have forgotten what the critics said.
Okay, so the blue team loses, and Ralph, because he really is the only one that held the kitchen together, he gets to nominate 2 people for elimination tonight. And so Gordon says, go back to the dorms, let people bother you about this for 30 minutes. He actually says, he's like, go back to the dorms and deliberate, and he goes, disappear.
Yeah, he likes both of them and goes, disappear.
Yeah, he told him to disappear, that dramatic bitch. My next note says, I think Andrew and Jess are buds. Because she's crying because she's stressed out because she thinks she's gonna get nominated, and he kind of comforts her. He's like, hey, it's gonna be okay, and she's like, I'm not allowed to be sad.
And she's like, I'm not allowed to be sad.
But I think that I thought that was kind of a sweet moment because I think Andrew and Jess are good buds.
Yeah, and Ralph, I think this was a good moment too. When Ralph was deliberating, he's doing an interview. He's like, I'm not my decision going through like nominating is to think about why we lost tonight.
Yeah. Well, because it's not like you had the situation like Chris had with the red team last week, where Jeff is a fucking idiot and Dewberry tried to walk out. You know,
Yeah, obvious
like
problems.
yeah, like obvious problems. Like everybody kind of struggled in the blue kitchen, but
Some people struggle more than others.
yeah, and Ralph kind of has. You can tell that he has a hard time picking who he's going to nominate for elimination.
Yeah, it's like it's those friends.
Yeah, I also have written here, blue team's kind of a squad because
Yeah.
they show them getting ready to go out and go to the elimination or whatever, and they're all there and they all like fist bump and stuff, and I think that they're all like tight. So I think this is tough for them, even though it's early on. Because it's the first time the blue team's lost. Also, you know, they kind of had like a winning streak, so they've all been there from the beginning. They've never had to deal with this, so I feel for them.
Yeah.
But so Wendy and Andrew are up for execution. But yeah, he nominates Wendy.
Gordon sharpening his pitchforks.
Yeah, Wendy for just kind of being all over the place, and Andrew for talking back to Gordo.
And when they're
because Gordo really lays into him at one point, and he's like, it's after the salty risotto goes out, and he's like, "You think you're so smart, don't you?" Blah blah blah, and like that's the point that I was like, I understand why Gordon's mad at him, but Andrew wasn't. I don't think Andrew was giving him attitude in that moment, but that's why Ralph nominated him, is because he was butting heads with Gordon.
Yeah, he's like, that caused unnecessary stress on everybody.
Yeah, so I get that. It doesn't help the kitchen to operate well.
Yeah, and when they come up, they're both given a chance to like explain why they should stay. And Andrew, he gives a pretty good response. He has a pretty good response. He's like, "I'm a team worker. Like, I'm gonna work harder," or something. And Wendy's just like, "I know I'm not the most skilled, but if you let me continue on forward, I would greatly appreciate it." And Gordon's like, it's fucking painful working with you.
Yeah, he lays into her because, she's just kind of
dumb.
I don't think but like the thing is, I don't think she's dumb. I think that it's a high pressure situation and that she gets overwhelmed. Like in those situations, like you ever get in a situation where you just do something stupid and you're like, oh, I got stressed out and I did, it's like every conversation I ever have with a person I don't know very well. You get stressed out and you say something stupid.
Yeah.
I think that's Wendy's whole life on Hell's Kitchen. But
it's amazing she got as far as she did, though.
Yeah, but okay, spoiler alert. Wendy gets sent home. She's gone. Of course, I think it's obvious because Andrew has more kitchen experience. He's actually a pretty good cook, and Wendy is just kind of flopping around like a fish out of water. Like a fish out of not boiling water.
Like a fish out of cold tap water.
Yeah, but Gordon tells Andy, he says, "Smartass, count your lucky stars."
He always has something quick. He always has something to say at the end. He's like, Andrew, he
goes, "Hey, smartass, count your lucky stars." That might be my moment of wisdom. Gordo said they were both pathetic, both teams. Jess is sad that Wendy's going because they were friends, but the red team is glad they had a good day. And somebody said that or maybe it was Gordon. He says he put Wendy out of her misery.
Oh yeah, he has 2 jackets this week. One for Jeff and one for Wendy.
Did he hang Jeff's up? I missed it.
Yeah, he hung Jeff's up.
I think he should have taken time out of dinner service to go do that real quick.
He's like, hang on, cameras, come with me.
Come with me. I gotta go hang this up on the meat hook. I gotta go ruin this jacket.
Yeah, God.
I gotta go ruin this perfectly good jacket. But anyway, yeah, so we lose 2 this week. Jeff and Wendy. Because sometimes in a situation like that, if somebody quits, they don't send somebody home just to, even it out, but they still sent Wendy home.
Yeah.
Maybe the producers knew from the beginning. They were like, this guy's gonna quit on episode 3. We'll just bank on that now. He's gonna fake a disease in episode 2. Jeff literally never cooked anything.
It's like that bit from
By the way, Jeff literally never cooked anything except for his one good soup.
But did he really never cook anything?
The first night he was a server. The second night he burnt the spinach. The third night he ruined everything.
And then left.
And then he quit. The only thing he cooked was that soup with croutons. And it was pretty good.
But you can't win Hell's Kitchen on a soup.
You haven't met Elsie, mother of 6. You'll see, America. Wake up, America. Elsie makes a really good chicken soup at one point. It's probably one of my proudest moments as a fan.
Spoilers.
Well, There's lots of opportunities to make a chicken soup. Maybe she makes multiple chicken soups. Maybe one of them's bad and one of them's good.
maybe she spends an entire dinner service making chicken soup.
Maybe they have a chicken soup themed night at Hell's Kitchen. Every dish is soup. Anyway, thank you for joining us on episode 3 of Hell's Bitchin'. Did I ever say the name of the show?
Hell's, yeah, you did.
I did at the beginning.
You did it really hard. You were like, Hell's Bitchin'.
Hell's Bitchin'. Gordon Ramsay
This
fancast.
kitchen is bitchin'.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. I feel like we're really getting to the point now where it's less of like introduction to the contestants. Like we're really getting to know everybody.
Yeah, we're gonna start getting into the weeds of these people.
Well, and we're already to the point where like everybody that's left, I'm pretty invested in them. There's only 8 people left.
Oh shit! Really? Let's
there's 9 people left. Just want to remind everybody that I do know how that song goes, despite last week.
Despite last week where you kept forgetting.
Yes, but thank you so much for listening. Be sure to tell your friends,
tell
your family. Give us some comments, give us some likes, retweet,
feedback,
reblog, yeah, anything you guys have to say. If you like it, please let us know.
And if you don't like it, we're like, and if you don't like it,
let us know.
Shut up.
All press is good press, right? Look at the room. Look at Tommy Wiseau. We could be the Tommy Wiseau podcast.
We wish we were the Tommy Wiseau podcast.
Sure, the Tommy Wiseau of anything. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Our moment of wisdom this week: smartass. Count your lucky stars. See you next time. Bye.
Fucking yes, mate!